Minister, let's get right to the meat of the discussion. Now, Nigeria, of course, has been in the news. There's been an impact coming out of the strike action that we've seen out of Nigeria. And now we've also the IMF as well as the Fed coming in and revising their growth outlooks for 2012. From a Nigerian perspective, what kind of an impact do you see?
Well, first, as you said, we've seen the coming out of the strike and getting back to business in the country. And as you know, we have forecast growth of between 7 and 8% this year. I think on the back of several of the challenges we have in infrastructure, which as we address this during the course of the year, I would say that this is a conservative estimate of growth, but we prefer to stick with that. As you know, Nigeria has been growing at about 7% for the past couple of years.
Yeah, but Minister, do you see any impact out of this strike action? Because there's been a loss of confidence, and some people are suggesting that likely, on its own, is likely to shave some kind of percentage of some of your growth figures. You're saying you don't have to relook these figures.
I just think I think we should really be careful in saying that there was a slowdown, a shutdown of the economy for 5 working days. And the economy has resumed. And of course, we had the impact of, we have to look at the impact of the Boko Haram, the recent events, sad events for us in Kano. But I think the country is recovering. We have a strategy to address this 3-pronged strategy for addressing the Boko Haram, both from a security, a political, and then an economic inclusion point of view that tries to address the poverty issues and the unemployment issues in the part of the country from which they originate. And I think that we should not take this 1-week shutdown as something that is going to have a permanent effect on the economy. I've been here in Davos talking to various CEOs, and I've not detected, any permanent damage.
Sure. Minister, so those discussions are ongoing, but at the same time, the key reasons why there were those strikes does remain. So what happens now to the fuel subsidy debate? Is the government going to stick at these figures, or are we likely to go back to the previous situation where this subsidy comes back and then the issues that they were supposed to address remain unresolved?
I think that painful as it has been, that the fuel subsidy debate has had some salutary effect in the country. First of all, it's brought the deregulation issue to the fore. Remember, we're just not after phasing out fuel subsidies. It's also about deregulating the downstream petroleum sector so it can become more competitive and yield more for the economy. And I think that debate has been good. People accept deregulation. We now have gone halfway in phasing out subsidies, which is a big win for both the population and the government. Because for 5 years, nobody has been able to move the subsidies, and we need to move on this issue, as you know. So I think we see the debate as going on. We have to dialogue with the population. We have to respect and listen to what they have to say and to their feelings, and we are going to do that. But there's I think it's accepted by Nigerians that deregulation is on.
And what's your sense from the discussions that you've been having with the captains of industry here in Davos, talking about Nigeria, particularly because given the impact that Nigeria has on Africa, and also the perception that Nigeria, in fact, has been the engine of growth for Africa. What sense are you getting from their perspective and perception of the events that are taking place in Nigeria?
Well, actually, I'm somewhat heartened. Of course, many are asking questions, particularly about the security situation and wanting to know. The biggest question is, what is the government strategy? So it's not so much about whether it happened or not, but do we have a strategy to confront this going forward? They want to know that, particularly the longer term, like what are we doing in terms of economic inclusion?
Absolutely.
And then they very much want Nigeria to succeed because, as you said, Nigeria is Africa's largest country by population and second in terms of economic contribution, in terms of GDP. So they think that if Nigeria moves, then the continent has a good chance of continuing its good growth trend.